Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. I'm Interim General Manager of KPBS, Nancy Worley, and we've got a fun afternoon planned. Hope this is on your lunch break or just a great way to start your weekend. We're going to have a lot of fun here in the next hour. I am joined by Interim Associate General Manager for Content, John Decker, and our special guest today, Jorge Meraz, host of Crossing South, and Stephen Javitz, the producer of Crossing South. We're going to have a lot of fun. Welcome our Directors Club members. As we are letting people into the Zoom webinar room today, we're just going to wait to get things officially started. And we're just going to have some fun here first with some polling questions. So, John, Jorge, Stephen, you guys ready?
We are ready.
All right.
Ready.
Question one for our audience here. Season 1 first aired. When did season 1 start of Crossing South? I feel like it's always been part of KPBS, but was it 2005, 2009, 2011, or 2015? We'll see how informed our Directors Club guests are today. So, all right, we'll get the answer. 2011. Wow. Smarty pants. It's usually our KPBS audiences. They're so smart. 2011, that's right. We're going into the 12th year. Fantastic. All right. Next question. Where did Jorge grow up? San Diego, Los Angeles, Tijuana, or Mexico City? All of the above? Maybe not really. Let's see what the answer is. We'll give you guys enough time to make your educated guess, or
We need the Jeopardy theme song.
yes, we do. Oh,
Ooh.
Jorge, inform us. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Tijuana, guys.
All right, Tijuana. Fantastic. With San Diego in your backyard.
Yeah, a man of
always.
the world, a man of the world.
Always.
Yes. All right, we have a question here about Stephen today. Stephen's done video productions all over the world, including Spain, Italy, Japan, China. Which one of these fabulous countries has Stephen also produced content in? Let's see that guess here. Give you enough time.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ooh, we stumped him.
No.
Stephen.
It looks like 0% voted for it, and that's what it was. I did a little production in China.
I don't think we have ever stumped our event audiences. That's a first. Wow.
They're
All right.
learning about
Well,
Steve.
and I've got to know, Stephen, what was the production? I'm
It was a travel video over there,
Uh-huh.
and I'll say one of the favorite things was petting the pandas. So that was pretty cool. In
Oh,
one of
wow.
those reserves.
Oh boy.
It's really fun. They're just as fun in real life as they are as you see on TV.
I have some intense jealousy right now. All right, question 4. True or false, Crossing South only airs on KPBS TV. We'll add that little. True or false? Crossing South only airs on KPBS TV. Let's see where we're going with this. And false, yes. Crossing South is shared all around. We love it.
I'm trying to keep a poker face so I don't give it away.
So you don't give it away. Yes. And Crossing South was picked up by Create, one of the public television distribution channels. So that's awesome. We love that other audiences get to share in Crossing South. We have a fun last, not polling question, but we're going to do a lightning round. We've got 5 quick questions that we're going to throw at you, and we want to hear your responses. So I think
We've got company,
questions?
forgive me.
Oh, yes. And
Tommy had to come in. Tommy knew we were doing Crossing
Tommy
South,
the
and
dog.
Tommy is a rescue greyhound from Caliente, so he, he'll be joining us today. Sorry,
Very nice.
need to acknowledge that because you just can't.
Yeah.
He's like the 300-pound gorilla, right? Go ahead, Nancy.
Right. He heard the word panda and he was
Exactly.
sporting
He
the
heard the word
colors,
exactly.
so he came in.
It's like the BBC reporter that the kids came into the room. That's literally the
Best.
equivalent.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. There you go.
All right, Val, you want to give us the lightning round? All right, quickly. Which would you prefer to eat? Tacos or burritos? I think we're supposed
This
to
is
get-
not multiple choice? What?
No, it's not. This is
Oh,
lightning round. And then we're going to get the answers and see what our audience thinks. All right. Which would you prefer to drink? Dos Equis or a margarita? Next question. And don't forget to scroll down. There's 5. Where would you prefer to spend the day? In Valle de Guadalupe or Puerto Nuevo? That's a tough one. Which dessert would you prefer to eat? Flan or tres leches cake? Another tough one. And last, which activity would you rather participate in? Snorkeling through the reef at Cabo Pumo Marina National Park or visit Tortugueras Las Payitas to watch the turtle release at sunset? I don't know. Tough questions. Do we get our answers? All right. This is our audience. Oh, we are a taco crowd. Taco crowd. Margarita crowd. All right. Dos Equis. I don't know. Valle de Guadalupe. What's our audience here today? Great. Flan. Oh, I don't know. See, I had some really amazing tres leches cake recently, and
You know what? Except
Amazing.
for the margaritas, I'm with the audience on this one.
you are okay.
Yeah.
We're
And
all
last but
winners.
not least, oh, it's close at the bottom. Last question. More want to go see the turtle release at Tortugueras Las Playitas. Tortugueros. All right. So a lot of fun, great questions. And now welcome to everybody. We are going to have a lot of fun here today. So, and we're going to introduce our special guests and get the conversation going. So for those of you who are not as familiar with the show Crossing South, it's a travel program which explores everything we find over the border in Mexico, from the people to the foods, customs, and places frequented by the locals. The audience is taken on a delightful journey through an amazing, diverse country with a special focus on northern Mexico. Prior to working on Crossing South, Jorge Meraz was a TV reporter and sports anchor in Tijuana for TV Azteca. He then worked in creative copywriting for ad agencies before handling PR for private companies. In 2010, he directed the Emmy award-winning documentary Visa Dream, and he is also the director of Centurion 5 Productions, a published singer-songwriter on iTunes and Spotify, and he composed the country album My Highs and Lows by Randy Redmond. Wow, all over the place. It's fantastic. Stephen Javitz has done hundreds of video productions, including weddings, a cooking show, television, and documentary productions, taking him all over the world, including China, Mexico, Central America, and beyond. In 2020, a nature documentary he produced about great white sharks was awarded an Emmy. And moderating today's event is KPBS Interim Associate General Manager for Content, John Decker. John oversees news and programming content across radio, television, and digital at KPBS, including the local content initiative, KPBS Explore. And with that, I'm going to sit back and have fun and listen to this conversation. So take it away, John, Jorge, and Stephen.
Thank you very much, Nancy, and hello to everyone. Just a quick reminder that if you have any questions or if you have any comments, the chat and the Q&A section, I'm pointing to the right here because they're on the screen here on the right-hand side. So I'll be watching that. If you have any questions, comments, drop them in the Q&A. Valerie is also watching the chat. So if you have any technical issues, you can do that as well. In either case, we'll be watching to make sure that if you have questions or something you want to get into Jorge or Steve, that we'll include them in the conversation, okay? Again, it's just so much fun to be here with you guys today because Crossing South is the first show that we launched through the KPBS Explore project so many years ago. Well, it's now 11 years ago, which is hard to believe. It's been that long. We've been having so much fun with Crossing South over the years.
Sure.
So we've, working with Jorge and Steve on Crossing South has been just a treat. And we look forward to the launch of the season every year. We might be able to talk about this later on, but during the pandemic, Steve and Jorge did a great job. They continued to produce Crossing South at a time when a lot of productions, for various reasons, were just really sidelined. So We are entering our 11th season. Well, I should say Steve and Jorge are entering their 11th season.
Together, Steve, John, you're with us on this.
We are together. We are joined at the hip
Yes.
for the Crossing South journey. 8 new episodes debut on the 24th of March at 9:30 p.m. Not only do they debut on KPBS television, but they'll also be debuting on the KPBS video app. Okay, so with that, what we're going to do today, we're going to ask some questions. We've got clips from the shows. We got like 7 clips here. They're all a lot of fun. And you're really going to enjoy what we've got on tap today, so you can get a sense of what you can see more of during the Crossing South season. So I'll kick it off with a couple of questions for both of you guys. And maybe Jorge, I'll send this to you first as the man on the screen. Tell us a bit about what your goal was when you started Crossing South. What was the idea behind the show? Why did you want to do it?
Well, I feel it was in a region that was misunderstood. A lot of its virtues were not explored. You had a very particular crowd going to TJ, which was college kids only. But you didn't have any of the rest, any of the families. That just wasn't it. And there was so much there. Sometimes, we travel, I've been to Asia, I've been to Europe a bunch of times and stuff. And you want this foreign experience that requires you to mobilize halfway across the world when you have it a stone throw away. I mean, you could be literally on an outdoor market and have the same feeling as if you were somewhere in Thailand in some spots, right? So I just felt there was so many things that people did not know, basically because the only media Baja got was stories of crime, So that's all the media we got. So I felt that the region needed a new face, and I felt like I knew enough about it that I could show it, that I could be a journey friend for the audience.
It's been so much fun on that journey. That's a really good point. I remember when we were talking about this those many years ago, you all wanted to demystify Tijuana and Northern Baja, right? Steve,
sure.
you think you guys have succeeded in that?
Yes, I think so. I think people tell us that they tell us that, like, man, after we see your show, it's like all my prejudices have gone away. I've come over the border to try it out, and they love it, and they bring 20 friends with them. We've got emails to that along that line, and just the success of the show too. Just kind of we started it, and something that really came out to me is when I started working with Jorge. We did a little production together, and he was on camera. I was like, man, this guy is good on camera. And so it just the camera loved him, and he was really good just presenting stuff. Would get things done the first take. And we were like, man, this is going to work out good when we started having this idea of the travel show in Tijuana area, starting out in Tijuana basically, and kind of expanding from there.
Yeah.
Steve is a pretty, I don't want to say harsh judge, but if I'm doing a segment and I see him, cackling behind the camera, I know I'm doing a good job. If I'm breaking him, I know that, okay, we got a good segment going.
Well,
that's kind of my measuring stick,
Steve was telling us earlier that you're a one-take wonder, Jorge. That
right. He calls me one.
It is rare to have to do it over again.
I have attention deficit disorder, so Steve handles most of the organizing of the scheduling, and if a place needs to be booked. Some of the places we just show up, but sometimes some places need to be booked. So he's the one that handles that. But he jokes that he wheel carts me in like Hannibal Lecter and unleashes me on the set. On the way there, I'm so bored. I'm like Rain Man. I'm just sitting in the car, bored. I don't even know where I'm going. But Steve just unleashes me on the location. So
when we watch some of the clips coming up, we can talk a bit about how you approach, the businesses or the places that you go and the people. We've got a question already. Great. Thanks to Ellen and Herb Hafter. Have you ever thought about leading small restaurant tours into Baja?
We do have CrossingSouthTheExperience.com, and people can book if they email, even on social media. We do have tours where I've selected the places based on the show. For me to personally lead one, I'm not opposed to it. We could probably explore that option. Haven't thought of it yet, but I'm not opposed to it. So it could be open for the future.
Yeah. I think that's the question that I get the most about the show too, is does Crossing South do tours? Because So many things to see. And I think the show itself is a great tour of Baja, Tijuana, Ensenada, and so many other. Oh, and you guys did a series, what was it, 2 series ago in Mexico City that I thought was really terrific.
It's a big city. There's a lot to offer over there. It was pretty impressive, that museum, Chapultepec Castle, I believe it was. All the history. It's a huge history there.
Mhm.
And it was new. A lot of it was actually new to me.
And that's one of the ones we just showed up to. And when we were basically 80, 90% done, we were approached that it wasn't like allowed without
Definitely.
a pre-written, So we're like, let's just do guerrilla recording here, and let's get out of here. So we kind of got away with one with that episode.
A bit easier to ask for forgiveness in that case, right?
Right. That's exactly what happened.
They did kind of give us, okay, fine, just finish what you're doing at the end of the conversation.
So let's keep talking about the experience of the show. What do you hope the folks take away from watching Crossing South? You talked about a little bit about families trying to demystify Northern Baja. What else do you really feel like you want people to take away?
Me personally is to just go to a place and see it for yourself.
Mhm.
Like after seeing what the type of news that Baja used to get, and seeing the reality of it, it honestly made me take news reports with a grain of salt overall, and like go to places that maybe I was nervous about. Just travel more with an open mind and go to places. So to me, that's what it did for me. I'm looking, I remember in '05, I think I was in France also, and there was some riots, being reported on the news that they were in Paris, and I was in Paris, and the riots were actually outside somewhere in another village or something, and I was like, okay, I maybe I need to just check it out on your own, and I think one thing that I always tell people, and having been in multiple places, like I said, multiple continents, is common sense can either keep you safe or the lack thereof put you in danger, no matter what city. London, Munich, Paris, you name it. You go into a bad neighborhood, you're not going to come out of there wherever on the planet. Chicago, wherever. So Tijuana is no different. It might have a rough neighborhood like any city, like probably, San Diego, but common sense will keep you safe wherever you go.
Mm-hmm. Smart. Yeah. Steve?
David Carruthers, who is a professor of Latin American studies, is like a big fan of our show, and he actually wrote a book it's called Unequal Neighbors. And I think it's an interesting perspective, kind of seeing like, instead of like unequal neighbors being more like rivals, kind of like, hey, we're all friends. It's we're all in this together. We're not going anywhere. It's right next to each other, San Diego and Northern Baja, and just learning about it and not having like a blocked off prejudiced view, but just, hey, what's really there? And I think it does that well.
You guys do such a great job. I'm gonna get to one question, and we'll get to clips here in a second. And it's a question about being uncomfortable. Steve, will you ever put Jorge on a boat again?
If I would ever put him on a boat, well, I'll
put him
try.
on a boat again. Yes, in the water with whale sharks and other very large marine animals. Will that happen again? Do you think?
I tried as hard as I could to get him with the great white sharks, but he put the foot down and just wouldn't do it.
No, that's my ultimate fear. I'm sorry, that was the limit right there. But you know what? I'm not a sailor, that's for sure. And but there was one episode where I was just, I don't know if I can say I was blowing chunks during the whole segment. And the captain, it was a thresher boat, right, Steve? It was like fishing.
One of those little fishing boats, like a little private party
And the captain was laughing at me, like he was just laughing at me, and so on, because I was laid out and I was just waiting, and Steve fixing his camera and everything, and okay, we're ready. And as soon as he would say, recording, it's basically what you saw on the show. So the captain was like, "Hey, I really have a new respect for that kid. Like, it's because when he's on camera, it's like he's all business, professional. He's doing the segment. Because as soon as he say cut, I go hurl or lay down again. But just when it was on camera, I was holding. So the captain, actually, I gained his respect that day after the segment was done. He went from laughing to like congratulating me for my professionalism or whatever.
So what you're saying, Jorge, is no one should underestimate your abilities. Is that right? That question, by the way, is thanks to Jocelyn Shannon for that question. Okay, everybody, as promised, there's a couple of other questions and we'll get to them here in just a second. We've got some clips coming up. And speaking of things you probably shouldn't try at home, right? You want to set up this first clip we got going, guys, about the when you're visiting the firefighters in Ensenada? Do you want to talk about that before we go into it, or just play it?
Do you want me to talk about the background on this one?
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Steve.
sure. Yeah,
Okay,
go ahead.
So
yeah.
this is our first episode. This is the one that's going to be on the 24th. This is a direct clip from the episode, not pretty much as is. It'll be out there. We are training with the Rosarito Fire Department. They were showing us their obstacle course training ground, and then Jorge was pretty tired by this moment. Before he even started this part of the training, he didn't know this was coming. None of us knew. They kind of jumped it on us.
We had done a full day of shooting already of physical activity, putting out fires with the fire hose, full, gear and a lot of exercises. We had already done a rescue on a second-story building of a really heavy dummy that weighs as much as a real person, rescuing them. And I had to drag him over to the window and throw him down the ladder, rescue this, this victim, which was extremely exhausting. So just think that and a full day has already happened. Without this, it's already an episode. Without this news, they just gave me that I had to do this.
All right.
We'll
Okay, so we've got a clip. What's that?
Captain Miranda narrates it. It's a firefighter trainer.
Gotcha. All right, so roll the clip, please. Thanks, Carla.
Listen, I am slow, my joints ache, I'm claustrophobic, but in sports, both organized or playing with friends, I've never been accused of not hustling. So here we go.
One arm through. There you go. Nice. Good job. Hips. There you go. Follow the hose line. Okay. Get on your knees. Get on your knees because that's gonna make you more tired. There you go. Once you get through the tunnel, then get on your belly. Wiggle through.
My helmet just keeps tilting forward, blocking my view.
Doing awesome. Okay. Get on your knees. All right. There you go. And now you're going to go between this rafter. This is where you breathe and organize your thoughts. Keep going whenever you can.
I'm gonna take a nap here.
Okay. There's no napping in the fire ground. There you go. You're going to go feet first. There you go. You want to go through that triangle. Get on your belly there and then go sideways. One more obstacle.
Yeah, iceberg speed, folks. I know. I won't be breaking any records today. Folks, it's 100+ degree weather. I want this to end.
There you go. This is where you remember all those tacos you ate last night.
All these tacos I've eaten for 10 seasons.
For 10 seasons. There you go. All right.
The camera shot here does not capture how claustrophobic this is. The plywood feels like it's right in your nose. I may as well be buried alive for how this feels. And if you ever thought cheers and encouragement were useless,
Wiggle through. There you
I have
go.
to tell you, these guys rooting for me made a big difference. I'm not kidding. I was hearing the Eye of the Tiger music playing in my head. So once I was out, the whole fire station cheering me on, clapping and encouraging me, I got an adrenaline rush.
No, we have 2 victims. It's where you call for the medic.
And the other one to rescue me just doused me with a bucket of water.
There we go. There you go.
Thank you, guys.
Nice.
It's crossing town, folks. Oh, man, this should be a workout for like those CrossFitters and everything.
I was extremely proud to share this day with Rosarito's modern-day superheroes.
That's impressive.
Oh man, you have no idea how that felt. I was done before that even started. So, and that obstacle course is so grueling that they had their best guy, which is obviously a super slender, fit, ripped, fireman, their best guy. They had him do it, and he said, "You better record it because this thing is so exhausting. I can only do it once, so you better get it."
Well, it really came across in that clip how hard you worked, and it's just great. One of the things that I think most people admire about you and about the show in general is, Jorge, how you put yourself out there, right? But you're willing to do. Well, we were joking before about getting on a boat into the water, but the fact is, you're really willing to put yourself. How did you become so cool? What happened? How did you do that?
No, I mean, I think I've always played sports, and I've always been taught to just close strong and get into it. And if the job has to be done, even when I'm scared, because like I've learned that I am claustrophobic because that was a real panic attack that I felt when I was. I mean, you feel the plywood like this. That's what it feels like. Even though there is some, I'm looking at the video, there is some separation, but that's how it feels, and you feel the distance of it. And there's a moment where you just have to like breathe and say, okay, Jorge, you got to get through this and bring your heartbeats down. And I guess it takes, a deliberate effort to do that, from feeling that anxiety to, will it away. I did. You have a task. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck here. You're going to start screaming, and they're going to have to hack this, with an axe. They're going to have to break you out of this. So, like, that's just the mindset that I did. Just calm yourself down and get to it. But I have to tell you that the most joyful moment was when I was close enough where I could just stretch my arms and feel the edge of it to just do a pull up out. As soon as I felt my fingers, it's like salvation. I'm like, I can get out of this now. So.
Well, like I said, I think a lot of people admire the fact that you're willing to do that. We've got a couple of questions here. Oh, yeah, thanks, Alex Wilkes. Are you going to do a segment on San Felipe on the east coast of Baja? You haven't done one in San Felipe yet, have you?
We have. We did one. We need to find more activities to do. Steve, I don't know if you want to take this one.
We have back, I think, first season, we have at least one. And I'm trying to see if there might have been another one. We did some hot springs south of San Felipe. We did a little bit at a golf course in San Felipe area. And I think we did a little bit of interviews with some fishermen over there too. But yeah, that's a good suggestion. We could kind of
we did golf at that place. I forget the name, but it's the main golf.
Yeah, it was a while. That was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you find that places change? Take San Felipe, for example. I mean, if you haven't been there in so many years, there must be a lot of new things that happen. I mean, it's like any other city, right?
It is kind of isolated, so growth is a little bit slower on San Felipe. It's about a 2-hour drive from the border, 4-hour drive from San Diego. I know because I used to spend a whole lot of time there. And what I liked about it was that it was a very sleepy town, very relaxed, slow-paced, tons of retired expats, tons. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't like a hip town. Like there's not a whole lot. You'll figure out the activities fairly quick. I mean, we did a restaurant. Remember, Steve? We did a restaurant that had like this gigantic platter of seafood.
Vaquita something. Not that we were eating the vaquita, but we were. That's just the name of the place.
Right, because the vaquita's an endangered, dolphin. So.
There were no endangered animals harmed in the shooting of that particular animal. All right. Speaking of endangered animals, I think that's a great pivot to our next clip from this coming season. Again, everybody, just if you have any questions, you can drop them in the Q&A window. We'll get to them. We got a couple here, and we'll get to those in just a sec. Stand by. So speaking of animals, the next two clips actually that we have come from Pai Pai Zoo in Baja. Do you want to set this up? Why do you want to set up what's coming next?
It's kind of pricey for a Mexico zoo, but they take really good care of the animals. It's very boutique. Mm-hmm. And the enclosures are immaculate. I mean, every time you walk, you'll be hard pressed to find a single piece of poop on the floor. So they probably have people coming in every 5 minutes because there's no other way. Like it was noteworthy how immaculate the enclosures are. I mean, I've been to San Diego Zoo and they're not that efficient. It's a bigger place, obviously, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's why. But they also say they focus a lot on rehabilitating, rescuing, and reintroducing into the wild animals that they take care of that. So maybe that's why. But I mean, for San Diego prices, it's okay. But for TJ prices, I thought it was a little bit pricey. But it's a really nice place. It is very nice.
All right. Steve, you want to add anything or?
Yeah, and just the experiences that they have are super unique. I mean, these are like bucket list things. You can get a special tour into the cages with these things, and so you'll see what we get to see.
Right. If you pay like their top tier, you literally will experience what you're going to see me do here.
Excellent. Well, let's do that. Carla, can you roll tape, please?
I'm ready. I think I'm ready. Yes, I've been ready my whole life for this. Little guys.
This is so cool. As soon as they saw me, they accepted me.
This is the coolest thing ever. You like that, little buddy? Is that cool? Is that cool? Yeah. I'm your wingman. Yeah, I'm your wingman.
You know, those songs that he's making is because you're talking. Yeah. He's like saying, shut up.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to speak too much. You tell me shut up.
Yeah.
He's like, you shut your mouth. There is one male monkey and all the females are part of his harem. That male monkey stayed on my shoulder the whole time and he would scare away the females that try to get close. What a jealous little guy.
There we are.
What a jealous little jerk. No, just kidding.
You ever feel ashamed saying that about a monkey, Jorge? But back to that, I think it's a really nice illustration. I don't think most folks would know that Pai even existed. How far from the border is it again?
South side of Ensenada?
2 hours, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
Max, less than 2 hours, maybe. It's a little south of Ensenada, yeah. So Ensenada, hour and a half, maybe 20 minutes outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you get to Ensenada in like an hour tops, but you have to wiggle through Ensenada traffic to get to the south side of it to reach Pai. So that's why it's a little more time. But
hey, we saw a bit of Steven in there. So and then someone has a question for you here. This is from Lenore Wilkes. How many folks are in your crew?
It varies.
How big is your crew? Your shooting crew? Yeah.
This season we had 2 camera people, including myself and Jorge, and sometimes we call for a little bit of help on the spot, like, hey, can you hold this little light for me or something. I think we didn't have to do that very much. We didn't need much lighting this time around.
The biggest the crew has gotten probably has been 4, maybe 5 sometimes. We brought in some interns, young friends or something. Their parents are like, take my teenager and put them to work or something. We've had we've had that kind of crew, but there were times when it was literally just Steve and me, and when we show up, it's worth the price to have seen the face of the subject when he sees you guys are making the show. So, like, where's the crew? Like we had Anthony Bourdain, and we had some other, and they came in with like a crew of like 10, 15 people, and it's just you 2 guys. So at the beginning of our show life for seasons, and people were shocked when they saw.
I remember someone talking about that. There's a Travel Channel show, and they had like 17 checked-in bags to travel to where they were going. I was like, you really need 17 check-in bags? Yeah, we do a special effort to try to keep equipment relatively small and easy to work with, because a lot of times we're moving around a lot. And so, I mean, when I first started out, I was like, ooh, I need a camera crane. And so I brought it once. I was like, that was a hassle. So I never brought it again. It's just been rusting in the garage for 10 years.
We would joke because we get in and out of a segment, and we would joke like we're ninjas, and then we would discuss equipment. Should we get that? And Steve would just turn. That would be very un-ninja like.
Yeah, it's having nimble
Yeah.
gear helps you get the shots when they happen.
Oh, well, again, it shows. I mean, you guys have great access. It's a small footprint. Folks let you in. If you showed up with a huge crew, they get intimidated. It's the Huell Hauser school of television, right?
Right.
You don't need a
right.
big crew to have a great show, and you guys demonstrate that. Hey, let's move on. There's another clip. This is the cute segment of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just roll this next clip,
Nice.
Carla, and we'll go from there.
Look at that. How are you doing, Michelle?
We're gonna sit down.
Okay. Are you kidding, girl? Are you with me right now?
Be careful because
I know she has claws and fangs. Michelle, don't bite my face off, okay? The fur is like a delight.
a lot of the felines, when they grow up, they lose that softness.
Oh, really? It becomes like coarse, right?
Yeah. But for the jaguars, it's soft a lot.
It's throughout their lives? It's always soft? Or?
Yeah, almost it's softer than others. And the fur is also really beautiful, the patterns. Unfortunately, it's one of the reasons people hunt jaguars.
Let's go to the camera. Shit, look at those paws. Like I want to get to know everyone. I want to get to know everyone that came in here. Another prey. She's gonna rip my shirt off too if I let her. It's not like I have a jaguar biting my foot right now. I mean, everything's cool, everything's chill.
Ishel was very inquisitive, as most toddlers are.
These shoes will have been sacrificed for crossing south. I'm tempted to leave my shoes for the entertainment of Ishel here, who really seems to like them.
Oh man.
You have the best time. Dude, you just have the best job. I think that's what it boils down to.
You will be hard pressed to find a smoother surface than the fur of a jaguar.
A jaguar. Now,
It was so fluffy.
is that one of the animals that they rehabilitate and put back out in the wild? Is that what they normally do?
I believe it was a breeding program.
Mhm.
I think there was a lot of things they were explaining to us, but I think the jaguar was a breeding program.
Uh-huh.
Right.
It's so beautiful. Do you ever get yourself, actually, I'm going to ask Niru's question here. Do you ever get yourself in a situation that you just gave up? You just decided, look, this is not this is not working, and I don't want to get eaten. I don't want to get drowned or somehow otherwise harmed. Do you ever find yourself in a situation where you just said, nope, this ain't it, man, I ain't doing it?
The only one is the one I preemptively did that to, where I didn't go to. Steve wanted me to go to the Guadalupe Island to shoot the going down on a cage with a great white shark, and that is no, nope.
Can
No.
I make a comment on one that I was impressed that Jorge did do, which I think is scarier than great white sharks? The rappelling off of an abandoned building in Mexicali. So it's like a tour, like kind of a fun sport tour. And they have these rock climbing gears set up on this abandoned, I believe it's like a beer factory or something that used to be. And it's like 5 stories tall. And you go over like a SWAT team over the side of it. And Jorge actually did it. I couldn't believe he did it. I thought, no, he's not going to do this. But we just showed up. He didn't know. The tour guide told me like privately. I don't know if Jorge even knows this. He's like, hey, we're going to do this rappel thing off the side of a building. Don't tell Jorge. So we show
My
up.
two biggest fears are heights. My two biggest fears are heights and white sharks. So, hey, I did one of those two.
When I heard what we were going to do, I was extremely excited, but at the same time dreading that Jorge was going to say no when we got there. But he actually said yes, which I could not believe. That was probably the most scary thing that we've ever done on the show.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to see the face of sheer terror, I mean, eyes with the fight or flight adrenaline going off at full, watch that episode, Mexicali, rappelling down. That was, and to me, like, I am sweating and full adrenaline rush rappelling down, grabbing the rope with like I probably would have burned my hands because I was squeezing the rope so tight. And I'm looking at Steve, and he's recording me, not even grabbing the rope. He's just letting himself be lowered, like completely, basically horizontal with both hands on this camera, and I'm clinging to dear life with every.
No, doing camera work when you're focused like on doing camera work, it kind of you don't.
Steve's like Kramer, and Steve's like Kramer in that Seinfeld episode where they're rappelling, Mark climbing, and I'm George, and I'm Steve.
And thank you for those of you that are following. Steve just posted a link to that specific episode in the chat box if you'd like. And it looks like Nero also posted the link to the San Felipe episode as well. So when the time comes, because we all know you'll be binging past episodes, old episodes of Crossing South in advance of the new ones. So you can just check those out when they're there. Hey, let's pivot a little bit. Whoa, you got some kids in the background. Is that
you've got a COVID baby. There was a baby produced in quarantine who was 1 year and 4 months old.
Mazel tov. That's great. Congratulations. Speaking of, well, that's actually not a bad pivot. We're going to pivot now to a pretty special episode. You went to visit a school for children of refugees or refugee children. You want to set this clip up a little bit?
Maybe I could talk about the founder. She is the daughter, or she's in the family that I guess is with the Rosarito Beach Hotel over in Rosarito. So they're pretty well known. I believe her father was the mayor for a certain period of time. So
excuse me, is this the Boys and Girls Club or the refugee camp?
This is refugee camp.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's different.
I'm sorry. Okay.
You're getting ahead of yourself. That's fine.
I'm sorry. There's two charities, and so okay, never mind. So the refugee camp. So there's the lady that were on the interview, Estefania is her name. She was a refugee from Colombia, and she had. I mean, it's always a challenge. Refugees, asylum, and all those things they go through, and all. I mean, the reasons they migrate, right? So she migrated, and she, I think, had some type of schooling or some type of help, and it kind of motivated her. She knew it from the ground up what it's like to be a refugee as a child, and so she wanted to start a school for the refugees stuck at the border in the Tijuana area, and so this is kind of her big project.
She realizes that there probably a good percentage, if not most of them, are not going to get across and get asylum. So she's trying to provide for them an education that allows them to plug and play if they're going to stay. Approved by the Mexican Secretary of Education. So it's a curriculum that if they make a life in TJ or Baja or Mexico, they can continue their education while they wait for their parents' situation to either settle there or get asylum to get across. Regardless, they should continue a life of normalcy, if that's even possible.
Okay, very good. Thanks. Can we roll that, please, Carla?
Can we see some of
course,
your kids and
let's
what's
go
going
to one
on?
of the classes.
Okay.
So these are some of our students.
Hello, kids. Hello, sweetheart.
¿Quién le quiere contar de dónde son ustedes?
Mamacita, ¿de dónde eres? ¿De Guerrero? Wow, de Guerrero. ¿Tú, mija? Guatemala, wow, pegadito a México. ¿Ah? ¿Y tú, amor? Michoacán, México. ¿Tú, mijo, de dónde eres? Michoacán.
It's truly endearing to see innocent children flourish despite being in the midst of a difficult situation.
Those kids, they're full of energy, and as they should. So it's very good. You guys are doing your job because they seem to forget exactly where they are, and they're like they were in any school anywhere on the planet. So that's very nice.
Yeah, and for us also, I think hopefully people see that they're just kids.
Well, that's impossible not to see. They're just kids, and it's a good thing for them to continue with their development, regardless of exterior factors. This is often neglected during a crisis.
So this is the bus school. Wow,
Yes.
It looks so pretty. What grade are they in? What are they learning right now?
So this is 3rd to 5th grade.
Oh. There we are. We're back. One of the things that I really appreciate about the show is that it's not just all fun and food, right? I've really appreciated over the years your focus on, well, in this case, helping to educate kids who are refugees and some of the other disadvantaged folks in northern Mexico and Baja. Tell us a bit about your pivot to that. Why is that important to highlight in a travel? It's a travel show, right?
Yeah, I personally felt that PBS is, first of all, it's the perfect venue for it. It's not, we're not on the travel channel only, so the people are not only expecting, the fun things, which are great. I mean, we love them as well, but it just, not that anyone's not that anyone's dehumanizing people in Baja, but I mean, there's more things happening. You do have situations like that are a reality, and there's people trying to help, alleviate some of the hardships that some of the people are going through or disadvantages. And I think those people deserve to be praised. And we feel that American audiences not only enjoy the fun stuff, the food, the leisure, but one of the things that you like whenever you travel is the people. Like if you go to Europe, if you go to Asia, you don't come back and just say, I saw the Eiffel Tower. You're like, I had this great conversation, met this, French guy, or made this, whatever country you're in. That's part of it. And we feel that human stories provide a face that you met someone in Baja. Normally, the proxy for that, or the ones that fill that void, that need, or highlight that, are the chefs, the cooks, the people of the leisure. That's why we focus a lot on the interview as well, and their story. And it's not just straight for the cooking, but what's your story? How did you start? Because normally that provides that human element of you get to meet someone in Baja as well. But we felt these efforts needed to be also shown, of what other things are being done.
Well, it's so important. If you think about demystifying Baja, they're, the people who live in Tijuana, like yourself, northern Mexico, they're just people getting by, people getting through, people doing stuff to help other people. And in this case, refugee children. It's so inspiring, right? It's so, it just warms my heart to see that, to see people helping out and to reaching in. I think Jorge too is, and I remarked this, I've seen these episodes, and I was remarking to myself how your interview techniques have really developed over the years, and how in place and how present you seem, especially in that segment and the segment we're going to see here in a minute or two. Have you kind of sensed just from your own perspective that you're maturing, if you will, evolving, growing as an interviewer?
I hope so. I mean, I do make a deliberate effort on
let me
doing
rephrase
that.
it. It's like you are growing and maturing as an interviewer. How's that sound?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I have a special spot in my heart for kids. Having kids, I think some chips awaken where you're sensitive to kids having the best opportunity possible. So segments like those where they're disadvantaged kids. My heart was really going out for them, so that also contributed. But I hope that in other segments, I've improved as well. Thank you, John.
Well, oh, you're welcome, man. You've really settled into it. I think you're doing a great job. Speaking of which, we've got 10 minutes left. We got one more clip, a couple of questions I want to get to, but let's do this clip first because it kind of connects with what we just saw. This is talking with the founder of the Rosarito Boys and Girls Club. Steve, did you want to finish your story now?
Yeah, well, I guess I already said it. I'm sorry, I didn't realize the order on there.
That's all right.
Yeah, prominent family, I guess you could say, from Rosarito, really kind of giving back to the community with Boys and Girls Club. And I think you'll hear just a little bit more details on the video.
All right. Okay. Carla, can we roll that, please?
You know what? There's a lot of self-sacrificing people in Baja. In this case, in Rosarito, we're in Rosarito. It's a place for underprivileged children. It is the Boys and Girls Club. In Spanish, it's the Club de Niños y Niñas de Rosarito. And we're going to talk to the president right now. Her name is Rosie Torres, and she's the spearhead of this effort. How you doing, Rosie?
Hey, hola, mi amigo. Muchas gracias. Bienvenido.
Oh, thank you, Rosie. Thank you for having us. Well, we wanted to see what you're doing here. How long have you been here and starting this endeavor of the Rosarito Boys and Girls Club?
Well, we've been here for exactly a decade now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yes, we started with the city donated the land.
Okay.
So it was a mountain.
Yeah.
We started grading it, compacting it. Then the multi-purpose room, we started creating it. And then we were able to start with the kids in 2012, because it was a complete necessity back 10 years ago when
Correct.
the kids, all the drug cartels, everything started, the bad things. So we created the good things.
Yeah.
And even
Let's
though,
give the kids a venue quick, right?
yes, and even though we started, well, I call it the peso per brick. So we did fundraisers, 1 peso, 1 brick. Fundraiser, 1 peso, 2 bricks. And that's how we kept going, and we still continue to grow like that.
How much have you accomplished already?
We had so many success stories. I could be here all day telling you the success stories.
That's the amazing, wonderful thing, right?
Oh yes, we don't stop with the kids, and the kids don't let us stop. So every time we have a new instructor, a new activity, all the kids have to try it, because you never know, we can have the next Beethoven composing the music. We have 3 main goals in this club. Bilingual kids, all my kids need to be bilingual. All my kids need to be sports, athletes of some form, they have to. And thanks to my sponsors and my vice president, all my kids need to play a musical instrument.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic for any children. I think anyone, even someone who's not underprivileged, would want for their children, right?
And we're back. See, that's another example of finding, business people who really want to give back and to take care. And, they could be anywhere. And it's just so nice to meet Rosie in the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah, well, giving is proven, it makes you feel great to give, gives you purpose. That's why you have all the millionaires opening foundations, because they're tired of number one, and they finally want to give some meaning to their lives, right? So there's some people that figure it out way sooner, like her, just to, for the sake of helping others. And one thing I have to say that I've learned, because we did a few on the show this season, where there's organizations like this that help others, and none of them function without that overachieving person spearheading the whole thing. That's the one thing I saw in common with all those, that they had this, honey badger at the helm that just will not be denied. And it showed me the importance of leadership, without those people, all those organizations probably gone, tomorrow. So you need someone to be accountable, to take the weight on, and I'm taking it, I'm taking the ball and running with it. And that's something that I learned from that. So I was happy to highlight those people.
Yeah.
I think it's a good match for public television too, of generosity, giving, and all those things. A lot of people could probably go through life and never really give back anything, but it's nice to highlight the ones that do and try to spread the word out.
Well, yeah, again, it's become a integral part of the show. And I think I really do appreciate it, because as a viewer too, as much as we like watching Jorge eat, there's more to it than that, right?
Yeah.
And especially if you highlight what people are doing, giving back, I think it's really special. We do have a question here from Cindy, who asks, "Do you ever write out a script in advance? Most of the commentary seems to be natural and in the moment." You guys want to talk about production for just a sec? How do you approach that?
This is unscripted television.
Yeah, I figured.
The only scripts that I write are the voiceovers. So whatever you hear off screen, I wrote it after we edit the episode. Steve sends me the draft, and where I see the gaps, where there's just music and there's we're not talking on screen, or an interviewee, if information is needed, I'll write the scripts for that. But what you see on screen is all unscripted.
We might have some general ideas of things we want to touch on, but a lot of it is just introducing the moment. We might know we're going to check out this glass shop that does artistic glass. Okay, we'll just explore that thing, and they'll present to us some of the neat things they do. And then if there's little details that might have not been clearly mentioned, or just to kind of tie ideas together, narration is really useful for that. But yeah, general ideas. I guess that's also good for public speaking. Just think about the ideas, not the words.
Sometimes the subject wants to tell us something, give us a heads up before, and Steve, don't say anything. Say it to Jorge on screen so he can react naturally.
That's true. The natural reaction is valuable in the moment.
So Steve is very a purist in that he wants me to react for the first time on screen. So
Yeah, don't tell Jorge, but we're gonna have him rappel off the side of the building. That's real.
We already did that. Wait till he sees what I have for him next time.
All right. We got a quick question. Oh, thank you for this, Julia. When you feature a charity like Boys and Girls Club, do you give out information for viewers on how they can support it?
I always ask the subject. I always ask,
Mhm.
how can people help you?
Yeah, yeah.
So they always give us the information, and to whatever PBS guidelines allow,
Yeah.
we'll give it out. 'Cause sometimes you
Yeah.
can't say a whole lot, right?
And if
Yeah,
even if
and
KPBS or even if KPBS allows that, it might get shot down later on national
When it
distribution.
goes
So we try to
national, right.
be very careful about websites and stuff. But you can always
Yeah.
search these names of places and find them very quickly usually.
Yeah, you can get them on the Crossing South website, and that's a really good point. The show is about telling the story, not so much soliciting, right? Soliciting donations for Boys and Girls Club. Boys and Girls Club is a very worthy charity. I don't know how big it is, there's many of them in the United States and San Diego, but it's more about the stories, learning about the folks who are there and the kids that are there as well. And I think you guys do a very good job of that. Of walking
The
that
show
line.
has real world effects. I mean, there's
Mhm.
charities that we featured where Americans have gone down and literally donated because of the show, like taking whatever, either funds or materials or whatnot. That's
Yeah.
happened for real.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's one really interesting one on Boys and Girls Club that was interesting, a point that Rosie made later on in the episode. She says she'll ask the kids, like the basic idea of it is to help these kids have more than just like more plans, more future. They said they'd ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they said drug dealer. A lot of them would say that. And
Yeah, when they came in, when
more
they
than you
first
would
came
think.
in.
More
Yep,
than you would
yep.
think, because these are people from rough neighborhoods. And
Yep.
so there's more to life than that. I mean, that's their, I don't know, their sports star is a drug dealer, basically.
So
That's
she's
like,
changing their life course with that organization.
It just takes that one person, that one mentor. Well,
Yeah.
guys, we really, really appreciate your time today. We're closing in on 1:30, so we're gonna wrap this up. Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to see you as always. You've done a great job on the season. For everybody, just to remind you, this is season 11 of Crossing South. New episode debuts Thursday, March 24th at 9:30 p.m. So there's still time to go back and enjoy the back catalog when you go to the KPBS video app. They're all there for your entertainment. Any closing thoughts before we hand over to Nancy here to close us up? No? How is that possible? If Jorge
thank you
doesn't
to the
have anything to
viewers.
say?
There's no way you're speechless.
thanks a lot for this program, and thanks for the viewers that keep us going.
We are so happy to be joined at the hip with you guys. So happy.
The pleasure is all ours. Thanks, guys. All right, Nancy, you're up.
All right. Well, and I just want to, one thing, I'll volunteer to hold your lighting or your microphones or your cameras any day, because just enjoying this hour with you guys, your enthusiasm is incredibly contagious. I can't wait for this season. And for those of you joining us from home or Zoom or work, whatever, I know you'll agree. This is just such a delightful show to watch and really a lot of fun. So thank you, Jorge and Steven. And when we were talking about charity and giving back, your generosity in support of KPBS helps us provide programs like this. So your support is incredibly important. We thank you for that. And there's more events coming this summer for Directors Club and Producers Club members. So thank you for your support. We'll look forward to seeing you at our next event, and have a wonderful weekend.
See you later.